Welcome to part 3 of Let's Play Masks of Mayhem by Robin Waterfield. At the end of the last part, I was on paragraph 51. Let's reread this paragraph as a reminder. You find that the tunnel curves. You peep around the corner and see a monstrous silhouette against the star-spangled night sky, visible through the tunnel mouth. Test your luck. If you are lucky, turn to 33. If you are unlucky, turn to 6. Okay, so our luck is currently 12, so this is guaranteed to be lucky, but we'll do it anyway. And we get 7, but we have to lose the luck point. Okay, that's down to 11. Okay, so we're turning to 33. There we go. Roll 2 dice. If the total is less than your skill score, turn to 64. If the total is more than or equal to your skill score, turn to 6. Okay, so our skill score is 12. So let's roll 2 dice. Is it 2 dice? Yep. And we get 10. So that was less than our skill score, so 64, here we come. Okay, you use your head and grope for something on the floor. It turns out, by the feel of it, to be a small skull. You toss this so that it lands in the tunnel mouth and the creature lumbers over there. This enables you to see your opponent clearly. It is a Nandi bear, which must have been using the disused mine entrance as its den. You will have to fight it, but you are able to creep up behind it and wound it first. Roll 1 die and reduce its stamina by that much, and also to fight it in the tunnel mouth, where your skill will not be impaired by darkness. Nandi bear, skill 9, stamina 11. If you win, turn to 222. Okay, Nandi bear, 9, 11. Nine and 11. Okay, so first of all, we're rolling 1 die to determine the initial stamina loss of the Nandi bear. Yeah, roll 1 die. Okay, oh, that was lucky, first time. 6. I would not have cheated at that. It's only the initial dice rolls that I quote-unquote cheat. Anyway, so we reduce it by 6, which takes it down to 5. Okay, now we're doing this properly. So 9, its skill is 9, mine is 12, off we go. 9 plus 7 is 16. I get 20, so 16 to 20. Puts it down to 3. Okay, 9 plus 8 is 17. I get 18, so 17 to 18. Down to 1. And then next one. Where's the mouse gone? There it is. 9 plus 7 is 16. I get 18, so 16 to 18. And that's the end of Mr. Nandi Bear. I think it's Nandi Bear. It sounds a bit... it sounds like the sort of a creature that you get on children's program or something. Oh, here comes the Nandi Bear to read us a story. Anyway, okay, so that's the end of that. So 222. Just remove any buzzing, just in case. Okay, 222. Off we go. Okay, you decide to spend the night in the Nandi Bear's cave. You use your flints and tinder to start a fire out of sticks and logs which you find in and around the cave and make yourself comfortable. If you met the Dorega family in the mine, turn to 112. Otherwise, turn to 121. Okay. Did we meet this Dorega family? Oh yes, of course. Yes, we battled the Dorega. Yeah, so yeah, we did. So turn to 112. which is 7 times 16. Yes, it is. Anyway, 112. Okay, you decide to inspect the items you acquired in the Duergar's lair. You soon find that some of the items are just what they seem. But if you have a Snattercat's tusk, turned to 301, a leather pouch, turned to 331, a statuette, turned to 30, none of these turned to 121. Okay, what did we pick up from that cave in the last part? Okay, we have a statuette and we have a Snattercat's tusk. Right. Okay, so let's turn to 301 first for the Snattercat's tusk. Okay, on close inspection, the tusk turns out to have 11 tiny dragons intricately engraved on it. It also has a lid which you screw off. Inside you find 8 identical seeds. They look like apple pips to you. Somebody has gone to a lot of trouble over them, so you decide to hang on to them. Return to 112 and choose again. Okay, so the tusk has 11 dragons and 8 seeds on it. Oops, not that one. Has 11 dragons and 8 seeds. Okay, that's that. Return to 112 and choose again. Okay, we have a statuette as well, so let's turn to 30. On the base of the statuette are runes which give the goddess's name as Cholumbara, a minor agricultural deity of cool. Return to 112 and choose again. Okay, it's a statuette of Cholumbara. Cholumbara. Better make a new line for this. Goddess. No, I'll just say agricultural deity. Agricultural deity. There we go. Okay, so that's that. Let's turn to 112. Okay, so we have nothing else. So let's turn to 121 again. It doesn't actually say an option for if we've chosen everything. Anyway, so 121 is where we're going. You rest, eat provisions, and drink fresh water from the nearby spring. If you have no provisions, restore only 2 stamina points for the rest and drink. Otherwise, restore the full 4 stamina points. Okay, we have to have some provisions. So that will take us up to 22, which is convenient, but we're now down to 8 provisions. Okay. In either case, you may add 2 luck points for surviving the deadly mine. Okay, it's 2 luck points. That puts us up to 12. Okay, in the morning, you reluctantly leave this haven at turn to 343. Here we are. You set your course by the sun for Fallowdale. If you have 2 or fewer lots of provisions left, turn to 376. Otherwise, turn to 200. Okay, we have 8 provisions. So therefore, we're turning to 200. Now, the remainder of the journey to Fallowdale is uneventful, apart from the occasional skirmish with a wild beast. Turn to 178. That's just a filler paragraph, isn't it? As you descend into Fallowdale, you recall what you know about the place. Several villages are located there, and the population is a mixture of human and other intelligent species. The villages are bound into a loose federation under a single overlord who occupies a fortified castle in the middle of the dale. Heaver is the present lord of Fallowdale, and his proud boast is that the fortifications of his castle are purely for external enemies. His villagers live at peace with one another and with him. Apart from this, you have little reliable knowledge. The people of Arion Never travel far from their familiar world, and certainly not as far as Fallowdale, and few traders have passed from Heaver's land to yours. You can see the castle a few miles away. Your route could take you through a village, turn to 305, or you could bypass the village by crossing a large ploughed field, turn to 396. Okay, we're going to bypass the village and cross the large ploughed field, and therefore turn to 396. When you reach the far side of the field, you stop to remove the mud which has stuck to your boots and is weighing them down. When you look up from your task, you find the farmer glowering at you. By his side are two snarling Caligarian ridgebacks, half dog, half wolf, highly intelligent killers. No doubt you could take all three of them on, but you don't want to offend Heaver by harming any of his people. So when the farmer rages at you for tramping over his newly seeded field, you offer to pay for any damage you may have caused. Will you offer 2 gold pieces, turn to 299, Cholumbara, turn to 66, or a copper nugget, turn to 205? If you have none of these, turn to 266. Okay, we are going to offer him the statuette of Cholumbara, because that is an agricultural deity, so let's turn to 66. And that will please him, won't it? I hope. No, it will. The farmer is overjoyed at your gift. This will more than compensate, he says. Cholumbara's presence will increase my crops for sure. You are pleased to have gotten out of an ugly situation so easily, and also to have shed the weight of the statuette. Add 1 luck point, which we don't need. If you... I'm a bit confused as to being able to shed the weight of the statuette. I mean, we could have just, chucked it. I don't know. Anyway, I'll just say given away. That's it, and then new line. You make your way now to the castle gates, turn to 78. It is evening when you reach the gates. 2 dwarf guards ask your business, then show you inside to a sparsely furnished waiting room. One of them returns before long. My Lord Heaver is dining, he says, and asks whether you will join him. Will you accept and go straight away, turn to 42, or ask to be shown to your room first, turn to 120? Okay, we're going to accept and go straight away, and therefore turn to 42. Here we go. You enter the feast room. Seated at the tables is a strange assortment of creatures. Humans rub shoulders with elves, birdmen. There's a birdman in the picture. A birdman in the picture. Birdmen are talking with dwarf warriors. There is even a friendly giant tucking into half a roasted ox. But over them all, lord of his own domain, sits Heaver, to whom anger and merriment are equally pleasing. You are led to the high table, where the place of honour at Heaver's right hand has been kept free for you. You are welcome, cousin, booms Heaver, for so I think I may address you. Be seated and forget your tiresome journey for the hours that you pass here. Why don't I have your things taken up to your room? If you accept, you retain your sword, but your other belongings are taken away by the guard who ushered you into the great hall. Turn to 71. If you decline, turn to 389. Okay, there's the picture again. Okay. We are going to decline and turn to 389. Here we are. No matter, laughs Heaver, if that's how you want to sit at the table. You talk about your respective cultures during the feast, although at the back of your mind is the matter of Heaver's horn and how to ask him about it. When the meal is over, restore 4 stamina points, which I don't need. Nope. Heaver invites you to join him in his privy chamber to listen to the castle bard. I've eaten so much lately that there should be another score. Fat points. The more you eat when you don't need to, the more obese you get, and it sort of lowers your skill. and makes you use more stamina when you're walking around. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just being silly. Anyway, Heaver invites you to join him in his privy chamber to listen to the castle bard. The wine you drank at the feast is already making your limbs feel like lead. Refreshing sleep seems not just desirable, but necessary. Will you politely refuse Heaver's invitation and ask to be shown to your room, 10 to 26, or will you go with him, 10 to 184? We're going to go with him and 10 to 184. You and Heaver continue the small talk of the table for a while until you are joined by the bard. He is a young man, branded on the forehead with the traditional mark of his kind, so that wherever he may roam in civilized lands, he will be treated as a sacred guest. As he tells a few traditional tales, you are struck by the fact that he is not very good. You glance curiously at Heaver, and he whispers the reason to you. This lad was the apprentice of my former bard, who was the best in the land, but he was abducted a few months ago and has not been heard of since. Still, this lad is improving. He is learning to weave a song around any tale you want him to. This, of course, is the traditional bardic skill. As his guest, Heaver tells you you can ask the bard to sing something. It would be impolite to turn down this invitation. Will you ask him to sing about the old story of Pike and the Firefox, 10 to 296, or to make up a song about your own visit to Fallowdale, 10 to 232? And there's the bard. Okay, we're going to ask him to make up a song about our own visit to Fallowdale and 10 to 232. 232. Here we go. The bard stumbles and hesitates a bit, but manages to concoct a short epic consisting mainly of entirely fanciful episodes about your trip to Fallowdale from Arion. The end result is quite pleasing and certainly flattering. He keeps going on about the power of a sceptre and orb when wielded by a true ruler, until you almost feel that you could complete the rest of your quest if only you had a sceptre and an orb. Add 1 luck point. Afterwards, you go to bed, 10 to 26. Luck point I don't need again, so we're going to bed and turning to 26. You sleep long and well, restore 2 stamina points, which I don't need, and wake up in the morning refreshed and determined to ask Heaver immediately about his horn. You find him in the privy chamber. He has shown himself to be both friendly and trustworthy, so you tell him about your quest and explain how useful his fabled horn would be. Heaver is quiet for a while after you have finished talking. Then he says, "It is clear that your mission is so dangerous that, were you to take my horn, I might never see it again. And yet it is a bulwark of my reign." Sorry, can't remember how to pronounce that word. It is a bulwark of my reign. If I give it to you, I must have in return something of great value. If you have a magic crystal mirror, turn to 58. Otherwise, turn to 149. Okay. I don't think we have a magic crystal mirror. Let's have a look. Scepter, nugget, helmet, soul, white sword. No, we don't have a magic crystal mirror. So, turn to 149. "I have nothing of value to offer you except myself," you say simply. Heaver thinks for a moment. "All right," he says finally, "there is something you could do for me. There is an exceptionally large saber-toothed tiger which has its lair in Athen Forest, but occasionally emerges and roams my lands, killing my people and their flocks. If you can free my land from this beast, I will give you my horn. But it will not be easy. The tiger is hard to get close to and extremely dangerous when cornered. Will you accept the test, turn to 240, or not, turn to 83? Okay, we're not going to accept the test, and therefore turn to 83. Lose 2 luck points for cowardice. You have no choice now except to leave Fallowdale, turn to 384. Okay, so lose 2 luck points because I'm a coward. Ah, the shame of it. Turn to 384. 384. So, sorry, I was just consulting my notes. 384. As you are taking your leave of Heaver, a bruised and bleeding finger thrusts his way past the guards into the courtyard and collapses face down at your feet. You gently turn him over and have difficulty at first in recognizing Kevin Truehand, your armorer from Arion. He is barely alive. He speaks through cracked lips with a great effort, as if resisting the approach of death or of something worse. Majesty, I tried. Black magic. Must not give in. Then he chokes and breathes his last. You jump to your feet. Will you go over to discuss this matter with Heaver, turn to 93, or stay thinking about it yourself, turn to 281? Okay, we're going to discuss this matter with Heaver and therefore turn to 93. Okay. With death, Kevin's heroic resistance snaps once and for all, and the evil spirit implanted in his body is able to take control. It too jumps to its feet, that is, Kevin's feet, and it hurls an impenetrable magical barrier around itself and you. But because you have moved closer to Heather, he is caught inside the barrier and helps you in the fight. The spirit, cackling with glee and cracking a fiery nine-tailed whip, has eyes only for you, but every time you win an attack round, you may assume that Heaver has been successful too and reduce the fiend's stamina by 3 instead of 2. You cannot kill this demon, but if you win the fight, it will return to the nether regions, leaving Kevin in peace at last. Hellfire Spirit, skill 9, stamina 12. If you both win, the barrier dissolves. Turn to 132. Okay, Hellfire Spirit, 9, 12. Okay, 9 and 12. Okay, off we go. So my skill is 12, his is 9. Off we go. 9 plus 8 is 17. Mine is 22. So 17 to 22. That takes off 3 stamina points because we have Heaver with us. Okay, next one. 9 plus 7 is 16. I get 24. So 16 plus 24. I'm not plus 24, 16 and 24, so I'm being stupid. Which is my natural state. Okay, down to 6 because of Heaver again. Okay, 9 plus 3 is 12. I get 20, so 12 to 20. Down to 3. And then 9 plus 3 is 12. I get 14, so 12 to 14. There we go. Okay, it's down to 0. Okay, that was a nice battle. Okay, that's into the Hellfire Spirit. Just get rid of the buzzing, should there be any. Yes, yes, yes. Right, okay. If you both win, the barrier dissolves. Turn to 132. You answer Heaver's inevitable questions, but you can only guess what treachery lies behind this incident. Then you leave Fallowdale. Heaver has restocked you with the full amount of 10 lots of provisions and given you a new pack and water flask. 10 to 20. Okay, I don't need to use up any provisions before I get more because I'm already at maximum stamina, but I am up to 10 again regardless, so that's that. And we have a new water flask. Do we need to write that down? No, I'll leave that. Okay, let's turn to 20. Okay, after half a day's travel through the chest-high grass of Pikestaff Plain, nothing more exciting has happened than pollen causing you to sneeze once in a while. The landscape is featureless, just the same grass all around. However, you do come across a tiny trail. It is no more than 6 inches wide and therefore hard to spot among the stems, but it is a definite trail running dead straight from southwest to northeast. Will you ignore it and carry on more or less due north, turn to 140, or wait by it, turn to 202? Okay, we're going to wait beside this trail and therefore turn to 202. Okay. You don't have to wait long before a large red ant passes by. Soon you have seen over a dozen of them. You recognize them as treasure ants, so called because they line their nests with any trinkets they can carry. They are quite large. You have already seen 4 of them dragging a dead field mouse along, and their bites can be painful. These ants are passing you by in both directions, but the ones travelling southwest are usually carrying some titbit or other. So obviously their nest is somewhere in that direction. You are tempted to find the nest to see if they have hoarded anything valuable, but treasure ants are known to travel many miles, and southwest is out of your way. Will you head southwest along the trail, turn to 105, wait where you are for a while in case an ant passes by with something valuable, turn to 91, or ignore them and press on northwards, turn to 140. Okay, we are going to head southwest along the trail and turn to 105. After a couple of hours, the ant traffic has not noticeably increased, and you have seen no sign of the nest or anything being carried along that is more valuable than a rusty nail. Will you carry on along the trail, turn to 304, or turn north again, turn to 140? Okay, we're going to carry on along the trail and turn to 304. They're bound to have something. Your perseverance is rewarded. You come across an open area in the grass where hard mud is pitted with holes, each of which is about the size of your fist and serves as entrance and exit for countless ants. You dig in the earth with your sword, but while you do so, ants have the opportunity to climb all over you and nip you. You can gain treasure worth up to 10 gold pieces, but at a loss of 1 stamina point for every 2 gold pieces. When you have finished, turn to 140 to head north again. Okay, we're going to take the maximum 10 gold pieces and lose 5 stamina points. So take 10 gold pieces, that puts us up to 15, but we've lost 5 stamina, takes us down to 17. Okay, good. Okay, so we're now turning to 140 to head north again. By nightfall, there is still no end to the grass. Will you flatten some of it and bed down for the night, turn to 2, or press on, turn to 34? Okay, we're going to press on and turn to 34. You must eat one lot of provisions just to keep your strength up. Okay, down to 9. A full night's travel brings you to the end of the grass. The landscape facing you is moorland, dotted with rocks and shrubs, and crisscrossed by numerous streams and rivers, which reflect the dawn sun. You rest for a while and then carry on, turn to 68. Which is double 34, that's interesting, isn't it? Okay, if you follow the ant trail at all, turn to 291, otherwise turn to 350. Okay, we did, so we're turning to 291. Okay, the most direct route to Krill Garnash now lies somewhat to the northeast. Will you head northeast, turn to 55, or continue north, turn to 243? Okay, we're going to continue north and turn to 243. Okay, you come to a ruined village. Crows and buzzards rise lazily from crumbling stone walls. The scene is desolate and more than a little ominous. Some evil has been done here, and not too long ago, for the ruins are not yet overgrown with weeds. Will you walk through the village, turn to 386, or bypass it? Turn to 285. Okay, we're going to bypass the village and turn to 285. Will you keep well clear of the village by heading due east for a while, 10 to 55, or just skirt it by heading northeast, 10 to 214? And we will find out what we are going to do in the next video. So I'll write down on paragraph 285, and then I will call it there. So thank you very much for watching. In the next video, we will find out whether we are heading east or skirting it by heading northeast. Okay, yeah, so we'll find that out in the next videos. Thanks very much for watching. I will say we're about roughly 2 videos before the end, so another 2 videos ought to do it, unless I do next video very quickly. I don't know what drags on, but another 2 videos ought to finish this book off. Okay. Anyway, so thanks so much for watching. Hope you can join me for next time, and goodbye.